first quarter of 2023, I spent 5 weeks in India looking for snow leopards near Chicham in the Himalayas, followed by sightseeing in Delhi and Agra, and the Holi festival in nearby Mathura and Vrindavan. The next stop was Agumbe in the Western Ghats, a mountain range that stretches for 1,600 kilometers parallel to the west coast of India. Agumbe is located in the wettest part of the Western Ghats and on average receives an incredible 7,600 millimeters of rain a year. I visited during the dry season in March, but the forest was still very lush and green, or I should better say the remaining forest. Outside the national parks, which are mostly well protected, much of it has been and is being destroyed. A real tragedy, as the Western Ghats are one of the world's biodiversity hotspots, with a large amount of flora and fauna nowhere else to be found. I stayed at the Kalinga Center, which is actively engaged in snake rescues, research and community outreach programs. My trip was led by Sriram, a fantastic Indian photographer. We usually started shortly after sunrise, and the main target species was the king cobra. Early on, we found evidence of snakes, like the skin shed by what most likely was a red snake. But snakes are elusive and shy species, easier to find were the fairly common ruse forest lizard and skittering frogs, which were the most abundant frog species in Agumbe. As typical for amphibians, it was after sunset that our search was much more productive. Most of the frog species we spotted were endemic and only occurring in the Western Ghats. Reptiles like snakes are also typically more active at night. And one of the endemic species I hoped for was the Malabar Pit Viper, which comes in different color morphs. The staff at the rescue center knows exactly where the vipers can be found and also had a few captive specimens. The yellow color morph sat completely motionless in ambush position when we found it, while the red and green color morphs were more active. Viper can strike quickly when provoked, for example by fast nearby movements, but the effect of the venom is relatively minor and mostly subsides after 48 hours. One night we were suddenly interrupted. A king cobra had been seen in a village. The villagers around Agumbe do not attempt to kill snakes they find, as much of the rest of the world often does, but they still wanted to be taken away and usually call the Kalinga Center. I tagged along and joined pretty much the entire village in watching the king cobra rescue conducted by Gauri Shankar, the founder of the Kalinga Center.
Back. Can you switch off your lights, please? Switch off your lights. Light it off.
The next day we found a Farnsworth fine snake, a slender-bodied and completely harmless species that was gracefully swaying in the wind. finally, there she was, the king cobra, basking in the early morning sun to warm up. She often commands fear as the longest venomous snake, with an estimated fatality rate of 60% among humans bitten. But reality is very different from the negative perception. If you stay calm, close encounters are entirely possible. The king cobra is very alert and will keenly watch anybody that moves around, but she does not want to bite unless provoked. King cobras grow to an average length of 3 to 4 meters, and as apex predators are dominant over all other snakes except large pythons. Her diet consists primarily of other snakes, and males have even been observed eating the smaller females. Her most charismatic posture is with the hood extended and the front part of the body raised up, which she can do up to more than a meter. Another fantastic species was the endemic lion-tailed macaque, which is a shy and much threatened primate, with only small pockets of population surviving in forest fragments. Its numbers have dramatically decreased in the last 5 decades, but it seems that protection is now taken more seriously. Macaques are easier to find, although being a threatened species as well due to habitat loss. The Malabar giant squirrel, which can be up to half a meter long, must be one of the most beautiful squirrels with its stunning colors that are best seen in the sun. I also enjoyed the bird life at Agombe with its many species. High on my wish list was the Malabar trogon, but it proved to be a difficult bird to find. I only got short glimpses of it and 2 mediocre photos. Invertebrates and insects are usually underappreciated by me, but there was much to see here. For example, large forest scorpions and burrowing tarantulas, spiders that cast their net on prey with their front legs, fishing spiders preying on aquatic life, and the very esoteric-looking juvenile wood nymph. All of this left me with a lot of appetite for my next 2 destinations in the Western Ghats, Bandipur and Kabini.